That's the face I make for everyone. All right. I got in a fight with my shaver this morning. Set the thingy too low. That is the term for it, the thingy, the guard or whatever. So we are looking at kind of not having a mustache for a second. It will literally grow back by the end of this stream because that is how fast facial hair grows on me. Hey there, Marijana. How you doing? All right. So everyone, welcome. We're going to do some, well, get my stuff there. Mr. J, Mr. J.E., how you doing? How you doing, bud? Thanks for the like. I'll get you guys on the list here. We are just going to do some stuff for a second. I know we're getting technical when I say stuff. I don't mean it. I have been doing very good. Thank you. Yeah, it's been a minute. It has been a minute since I've been on here. But yeah, it's been, I think the last one I did was in January of last year. And before that, it was even longer. So yeah, it's been a minute, but I've been back now. This is my third night. And then we're going to stop after this one until Monday. I'm doing good, bud. How you doing, Venetius? But yeah, so let me get your names on the list here. So we've got Marijana. Then we have Mr. J apostrophe E. It's nice seeing you. I remember your name, ChancesTarot, popping in my mind a few days ago. It's because you thought of it. So what I like to do is I'll reach out to random subscribers, right? Random just being anybody. And when your name popped up in your head, when my name popped up, okay, I messed that up. Anyway, that is cool. That is cool. I was going to make a very weird joke, and it bit me right in the ass. Hey there, Anita. How you doing? So then we have Venetius. Then we have Anita. Okay. So let's look at what tomorrow's future holds. Yes, I got you on the list. You are on the list. Okay, so this will be a live stream. We'll be going for about 2 hours. All right. I hope it'll be as good for you as it is for me. 2 hours is a long time, but I think we'll have a good time. All right, let's do this here. Okay. So everybody, we got any weekends planned? We got anything planned for the weekend? All right, Anita, when I get to your question, post your stuff again, or when I get to you, you're number 4 on the list. So just stick around. I'll try and get to everybody. You just got to stay here, though. It's about 2 hours, and I usually can get to everyone if they stay. All right. So let's look at tomorrow's energy and see what's going on for the weekend. You're welcome, Anita. You're very, very welcome. All right. Here we go. Let's do one more shuffle there. I don't know what that sound was in the kitchen, but it wasn't me. If it sounded vaguely flatulent, it was not me. Because mine is, you know what it is. All right, let's do this. One more shuffle. Okay. I mean, I don't do that. I've never. What is that? What is a fart? I don't know. Okay, here we go. So what's going on for tomorrow's energy? Ooh, this is interesting. So we are starting right off with death. All right. So don't need to talk about what that is. But no. So this could be Scorpio energy coming towards us. This could be just energy in general being like more transformative. Hey there, Skylar. Okay, so we'll do Aisha and Skylar on the list as well. Welcome, you guys. Remember to like the video as well, if you wouldn't mind. You are not Skylar, though. You are Sklur, because that is how I wrote your name down. So you're going to have to change your name. I don't make the rules. I make the rules. I'm sorry. That's something I do. Wow. Okay. Okay, here we go. Here we go. We have the Strength card. We have the Death card. And then we have the Four of Coins. What's interesting is this. So if I show you guys some cards, promise you won't tell anybody. Okay, this is a secret between us. Okay. Here's what's interesting. So the Four of Coins looks kind of similar to the Death card. They both kind of have that tent-like shape to them. Right? Can you see the Death card has that kind of nope, wrong. Let's see, how do I do this? There we go. There's that right there. And you can see it's kind of tented, right? And yes, you are Sklur. That's how it is. So when I look at these cards here, Scorpio energy could be coming towards us, changing energy, transformative energy. The Death card doesn't mean death. It means transformation, all right? There's always death and rebirth. You can kind of view it like the phoenix, okay? I like to view it like the Harry Potter phoenix because I am a huge nerd, okay? So you guys don't have to do that. That is a me thing specifically. There's other phoenixes out there. There's an X-Men phoenix. There's Phoenix, Arizona, but I don't think that's like a transformative place. I think it's just where people go to get overheated and die. It's so hot there. My aunt, true story, one time had a scorpion come up through the dishwasher. Yeah, so she's not around anymore. I'm just kidding. Can you imagine if that's how she went? But no, yeah, scorpions, they are scary. They are basically very strong spiders. Don't do stuff to them, okay? Bad things happen if you do stuff to scorpions. All right. I have to tell you guys some facts every now and again. Hey there, Sumit, how you doing? I'll put you on the list here. Oh, there we go. All right. You got it. You got it, Sumit. Okay, so I'm going to shuffle the cards. We're going to start with Marijana first. So, Marijana, what was your question? Hopefully you're still here because we're getting to the cards here. I'm going to be kind of quick with these readings because we're going to do some story time stuff. Awesome. There's Marijana. Perfect. Marijana would not want to get... Nope. Sometimes I've got to use my joking powers for good. It doesn't happen often, but when it does, holy shit. Okay. And yeah, Summit, I got you on the list. Transformation is the exact energy you're facing. Very cool. Sweet. I love it. Transformation, especially right now. What is the weight? So we have Marijana, Mr. J, Venetius, Anita, Aisha, Sklur, and then you, Sumit. So I'm not sure how long it's going to take. I'll try and be as succinct as I possibly can be, but you guys know me. I'm a bit of a talker. And Nadine. Oh, there she is. Okay. I remember. We were talking here. Can you leave your question here? Yeah, you can. You can leave it here. I guess we can do that. Okay. You'll just have to kind of scrub through the video to see if you can find it. I don't have everything set up. Well, and even if it was, that's usually just for people that do paid readings where I have their name pop up. But for the free ones, you'll just have to kind of scrub through and see what you can do there. But yeah, if you need to, you can do that. Okay, so Marijana is probably typing her question. I'm thinking. I'll shuffle the cards here. And remember to like the video, you guys. I need likes to live. You did type your question. Okay. I'm not seeing it. I'm not seeing any question. Yeah, I don't know why. Maybe it just didn't post for some reason, but I'm not seeing it. Will you get good news soon? Okay, let's look at that. Will Marijana get good news soon? Marijana get good news soon. All right. So we can come up here for, come on, let's see. Okay, here we go. Will you get good news soon? I'm just going to lay the cards down and then I will show you. Okay, so we have 6 of coins in reverse, 2 of wands. Okay, 6 of coins in reverse. Okay, that's what it looks like upright. So it's kind of like the harvest card. Then we have 2 of wands in reverse. Then we have, or no, yeah, that one was in reverse. Then we have the 5 of cups also in reverse. Okay, normally reversals can be like there's obstacles. This situation here, though, to me, if I see the 5 of cups in reverse with the rest of this, I think there will be some good news soon, but maybe there could be a tough financial situation or a tough situation regarding possibly an earth sign or having to make a decision or having to balance priorities in your life. It does feel to me like things will move quicker eventually in the future, maybe not too long. I couldn't give you an exact time frame, but the 5 of cups in reverse to me is saying that there could definitely be some good news on the way, because 5 of cups upright is very much like sadness kind of energy. It's usually dealing with emotional kind of things. If I see it in reverse, to me, that's definitely moving into an energy where things can be coming at you that feel more positive. So that's kind of what I'm seeing there. So I would say yes, there will be some good news soon. All right, Mr. J, what is your question? And while I'm doing that, Nadine has a spiritual question. You're very welcome. Thank you. What's the best way to show off your gifts to others without your ego going crazy? Showing off your gifts. I don't think you want to show off your gifts. I'm trying to understand how that would be beneficial. Talking about them is good. Leaving space for other people to ask you questions is good. To me, showing off your gift, it sounds more ego-centric than it does anything else. So you want things to happen in a more natural way. So I would say look at doing readings on Facebook. Look at going online and like trying to find groups that do readings, and then try to strengthen your gift through those kinds of groups, because you guys can do free readings for each other. Just make sure to do a lot of hygienic stuff. All right, Mr. J, thank you. Oh, appreciate that. You double posted and deleted, but I appreciate that. Courteous, and I love it. But yeah, look at going onto Facebook groups, doing stuff like that, because that's a really good way to do stuff for free, and you can get readings too. And then you guys can have like constructive criticism and work on bettering each other. And they're generally free to join and to get readings from. So look at Facebook groups to do that kind of stuff. Okay. What does my spirit guides and ancestors of my highest good want me to focus on for the next month entirely, just so I can create an overall plan to put my mind and energy to that serves me best? Sorry about that. Made a typo. You're good. You're good. Do not let it happen again, Mr. J, because if you do, so help me, I will come through the screen. No, you're good. Let's see what we can come up with for you, though. All right? Let's see what we can come up with for Mr. J. Let's see here. All right, so what does the spirit guides and ancestors do here? Much love back at you. I hear you. I hear you, Mr. J. All right. Let's do one more shuffledy, and then we'll go from there. That's my cute way of saying I'm going to turn the cards all up and twist them around and stuff. Okay. So let's see what we got for Mr. J. Ooh, okay. That's actually really interesting. Okay, so this right here, this is really cool. So we have the moon. All right. The moon is dealing with the subconscious. The moon is silver, kind of energy. The moon represents the divine feminine. It represents darkness, okay? And the divine feminine also is darkness, but not in the way that darkness is bad, in the way that darkness is necessary, just like light is necessary. Both of them show us parts of the self. And the reason why I'm bringing light and dark into this, you will see in just 1 second. Kind of all ties together. Believe it or not, I'm not as full of shit as I look like. I went this morning. Okay, so then we have the Page of Swords in reverse. All right, and then we have the Sun card. What did I tell you? It all comes together. Boom. All right. So the Moon, the Page of Swords in reverse, and the Sun card, things will be coming to illumination. So the thing that you want to focus on, Mr. J, you're talking about this transformative kind of energy. The Page of Swords in reverse could be that we are resisting. We're trying to adapt to change as best as we can, but there could be a sense of resisting kind of energy. All right. So the best thing we can do is to let go and to let flow. All right. So what's really interesting, people call them flowers, right? But you can also call them flowers, because they go with the flow. They let themselves bloom, they let themselves blossom. And that's something that is a very, very beautiful thing. So you need to do the same thing. Adapt to your surroundings in a way that's you slowly acclimating and making changes slowly. It does not have to be quick. Spirit, when it is operating at the highest vibration, does not want to do things that are very, very fast. It doesn't want you to make these very quick, very irrational decisions. Usually spirit, when it comes to this kind of stuff, it's a more slow, gradual process. Unless we really need to get out of a situation or something like that is going on, it's generally going to be a more slow, sort of gradual process. So the next thing for you to focus on for the month of March, I'm going to say, is going to be letting things happen the way that they're meant to happen. Don't try to fight it as much. Let yourself flow into it and try and see the lessons and the blessings that are coming from each kind of circumstance and situation. Because to me, that's going to be where your power kind of lies, if that makes any sense. So hopefully that gives you some insight there. Just like I said, the Page of Swords in reverse, that's what's having me think, get the mentality out. Okay, get the mental part out. If we're talking about spiritual concepts, we're talking about spiritual things, or we're just talking about living, the mental state for us can kind of clog everything up. Put yourself in a state of adaptability. Put yourself in a state of, what's going to change for me next? Change is the only constant that we can rely on. Nothing else in this world ever stays the same. The only thing that is constant is change. And so have that be something that you can focus on. All right? All right, moving on to the next one here. So Venetius, do you have a question? Or are you just here for the shits and giggles? Because I've got the shits, but I do not have the giggles. Not yet. Not yet. No one... You tickle me, though. I might get both. But that's kind of where I'm at right now. Thank you so much. Been dealing with subconscious blockages and healing in general. All this is synchronizing perfectly. Appreciate you. Appreciate you, too. Absolutely. No issues there. Both for sure. Okay, perfect. Perfect. Tickle my sides, and I'm like the Pillsbury Doughboy. I'm not going to say what that means. Look it up. Okay. So... Venetius, you're probably typing a question, which is good, because that's kind of what we're doing here. We all gather around, we ask questions. Eventually, I'll ask you guys questions too. It's going to be fun. We're going to see kind of what we can do here. My question is the typical tarot question. Yes, the typical tarot question. Yes, I of course know what that is because I am a typical tarot man. Okay, so what are we talking about here? What is ahead love-wise? Oh, that's what you mean. Okay. That's what you mean by typical. All right. Typical. Let's look at it. Let's look at this for Venetius. What is ahead love-wise? What is ahead for Venetius love-wise? Oh, there we go. What is ahead for Venetius love-wise? Isn't it weird that there is a fruit called a grape, and then there is a fruit called a grapefruit? And yet the one that is a grapefruit isn't a grape, but the one that is a grape isn't even a fruit, it's a berry. So I'm just going to say that. Maybe even grapefruit's a berry too. I'm actually not sure. I know a banana's a berry. A lot of people don't think of that. Okay, here we go, Venetius. Let's see what we can come up with here. All right, so we have got... We have the Eight of Swords in reverse, coming out of a situation where we felt powerless, or coming into a situation where we're starting to feel more empowered and more of a sense of self. So something's been going on. We've dealt with some of the shadow, and there's more stuff going on where we're feeling a sense of maybe peace. Maybe something has happened where there's more of a sense of peace, and that's what I'm seeing there. You're up next, Anita. So right after Venetius, who I'm reading now, you're the next one up. So this one right here, you're putting yourself into a state of empowerment is going to be kind of what we're looking at there. So really good card. I like to see that. Then we have the Seven of Coins, or the Ace of Gordon Ramsay, which, you know, we can all see it. We can all see it there. You can hear him. What are you doing with the cabbage? Like, what you doing? You know, that's what he's doing. He's harvesting that cabbage. That is Gordon Ramsay. Okay. He does appear in this deck. Then we have the Seven, and I'm going to say what that card is in just a second. Then we have the Seven of Cups in reverse. And this to me is feeling like, I know, right? That is, to me, that looks like him. I don't know. Kind of has that look. Okay. So Seven of Coins is harvesting that kind of energy and focusing on what's going to be coming up. So that's a really good card. This one is Seven of Cups in reverse. It can feel like there's not a lot of choices, or it can feel like there's not a lot that's going on, but there is. It's behind the scenes. Always remember this. If it doesn't look like things are moving forward, they're still moving forward. It's just harder for you to see it. You live your life day by day, and so you're not going to see changes if they're subtle or if they're gradual. But over time, those changes, you know, they're big changes, right? If you take one step every day towards a goal, even if it's a tiny step, in a year's time, that's 365 steps. There's a lot that can happen in a year's time. And so give it time. There's stuff that's happening for you. There's stuff that's moving for you. It may not feel like there's a ton of choices now, but there will be stuff in the future. And you've been working hard toward cultivating the self, which to me is what the Gordon Ramsay card is right there, cultivation of the self. And so that's good. This looks really good. I'm going to say, keep on doing what you're doing. The love situation, I think, is going to get better. Hopefully some steamy moments for you, my friend. Okay, so let's do this here. Anita says, what is coming towards you? And then we have the sign of Scorpio, I believe. Pretty sure. I get confused with Scorpio and Capricorn and Taurus and Sagittarius and Virgo. And no, can you imagine if every sign confused me? Because here I am. Because this is it. This is it. Okay. All right, Scorpio. So let's see what we got going on here, and then we can go from there. What is coming towards Scorpio? That doesn't help me. I appreciate you trying to spell Scorpio, but Sacripio, which last time I was called that, I had to kill the person. But no, let's look at Scorpio here. Let's see what we can come up with. Remember to like the video, you guys, and subscribe if you're not already subscribed. I'd appreciate it. Okay, what do we got going on for Anita? Let me look at it. What is coming towards Anita, the Scorpio? Wow, that's interesting. All major arcana. All right. Venetius, I am not updated yet. I don't know any of the new ones. Hey there, Petra. So, the Emperor in reverse. Death card, upright. And then the Lovers in reverse. So, Aries, Scorpio, or Gemini could possibly be coming towards you. The Aries and the Gemini, they may come towards you, and there may be ulterior motives, right? Because these are in reverse. If these cards are in reverse, I'm going to show you upright. That's the Emperor upright. Okay. That's the Lovers upright. And then that's Death upright. But these ones are in reverse. The Emperor was in reverse and the Lovers were in reverse. So there could be a Scorpio kind of energy that are moving towards you. Yes, I can put you on the list, Peters. Miranda, if I can remember right, which I can't. But I'm pretty sure it's Miranda with a 3 somewhere in there. All right. You're on the list. Okay, so there could be an Aries moving towards you. Again, there could be ulterior motives, or the Aries could be controlling, or it could be someone who has controlling kind of energy. It could be a masculine person. But it's like there's ulterior motives is what could be happening, what could be coming towards you. Then the Lover's energy in reverse, you could be dealing with a Gemini or someone that has Gemini-like traits. And so someone who can be very airy or someone who isn't very cemented in reality. Maybe they make promises, but they fall through. And that could be something that's difficult to deal with. And even though I did say that this is the Gemini card, it could also be an Aquarius kind of individual, but kind of wishy-washy energy is what I'm seeing. And Aquarius is an air sign, again, like Gemini. But that's what I'm seeing there. And then we have the Death card. Death card is Scorpio. All right, Scorpio is a card that, again, we talked about this at the very beginning. It's a card of change, but it could also be a Scorpio person coming towards you in pursuit. And Scorpios generally are intense kind of individuals. If you've met one that is not intense and they're not a true Scorpio, just disregard the message. No, but seriously, it can be an intense kind of energy. So there could possibly be a relationship that's offered from a Scorpio's perspective or from someone who has more intense like qualities. And to me, that would be something that could possibly be more true. But of course, everything that I'm saying, you guys, always use your own judgment as well. Don't blindly listen to me or don't blindly follow me, right? Because I don't know where I'm going a lot of the time. Sometimes it's in the kitchen. Sometimes I take a walk. I go outside. I get lost. They find me. You know, it's a whole process. So, yeah, that to me is what's coming. So hopefully that kind of answers that question for you. Okay, and Aisha, you are up. And what are Z Leo feelings for you currently? Okay. Let's look at that. What are the current feelings for Leo currently? All right, so we have Aisha, Skler, Samat, Nadine, and Miranda. Nadine had another question, just because she asked a spiritual question before. Okay. You're very welcome, Anita. Thank you. Thank you, guys. Okay. Let's see what we can come up with here. See what we can go on. All right, Aisha, let's see here. So what are Leo Z's feelings for you currently? Can you imagine if I talked like that? I can, because I just did it. Wake up, guys. Come on. See what we can do. One more shuffle. Got to keep you guys on your toes. How many shuffles? One more. Oh, there it is. Oop, almost lost myself with that one. Okay, so here we go. Alrighty. That is an interesting reading. Okay, so we've got the 7 of coins, or like I said, the Ace of Gordon Ramsay, and Petra. Did you have a question? I can put you on the list. If you want to be put on the list, I can put you on the list. Okay, so 7 of coins, then we have Judgment. Okay, all right, I'll put you on the list. Then we have the Judgment card, which I will show you again. Aisha. Okay, 7 of coins. All right, someone harvesting, and it's the coins is the pentacles, right? It's just called something different in this deck. Then we have the Judgment card. This is Major Arcana, one of the bigger Major Arcanas. The Judgment can be promises, reckonings, different things like that, and we'll get to that in just a second. Then we have the Devil card. The Devil card is Capricorn, but it can also be someone that could be playing with your feelings, right? So immediately when I showed the Devil card, like everyone left. Don't get spooked, guys. It's fine. The Devil card, though, is Capricorn energy, but it can also be someone who's you can be looking at someone who's playful, but you could also be looking at someone who's dealing with addictions or someone who plays with your energy and doesn't quite know what they want. A lot of times, if you guys come on here and you're asking me a question about how someone else feels, it's because you can't ask them directly yourself. Maybe there's separation, there's distance, they're not talking to you. But this kind of energy here, I would say keep your wits about you as much as you can and just let things happen the way they're meant to happen. Sometimes it will be with this person, sometimes it won't. But the Judgment card is kind of saying, I think there could be something that happens, but I'm also going to say that it's really up in the air. A lot of times, like I said, if you guys are coming on here and you're asking me how so-and-so feels instead of asking them yourself, maybe you don't have a close connection with them, or like I said, there's distance, there's something going on, but that's kind of what I'm seeing there. So hopefully that makes sense. Okay. Get positioned here. Okay. Then we have Sklur. Are you there, Sklur? Sklur. Are you there? Did we lose you? You're very welcome. Aisha, very welcome. Oh, Sklur's there. Birthday, May 24th, Gemini. And I'm so sorry that you're a Gemini. My question is, what is coming up for me in general in my life over the next 3 months? Okay. All right. Know that I say that with love. But I'm sorry about you being a Gemini. I poke fun at all the signs except for Taurus. That is the best sign. And yes, that is my sign. How did you know? All right, let's do this. What do we got coming up for... What is coming up in general in your life over the next 3 months? Let's take a look at that. All right. You don't take it personally. You can't get along with any other Geminis. Geminis can be tricky. They can be, but I talk shit about every sign. Hey there, Emmy. How you doing? I talk shit about every sign, so don't worry about that, except for Taurus. They are perfect little angel babies, and that's just how they are. I'm letting you guys know. Okay, so we have 10 of Wands in reverse. Okay, that's what it looks like upright. You look at that there. Okay, someone's making themselves a little stick fort. Yes, Val, I can put you on the list. It's Friday. How are you? I am doing good. So, Val, you're on the list. I'm reading Skylar, then it's Sumat, Nadine, Miranda, Petra, and then Val. And possibly Emmy, if she wants to be put on the list. I'll put you on the list on the bottom, just because that's where you would be anyway. But if you have a question or you don't, it doesn't matter. You know, in Vedic astrology, I am Taurus, and I'm actually much more like a Taurus. Okay, so Vedic astrology, I know even less about. Believe it or not, you guys wouldn't, you guys would be shocked at how much I don't know. But I myself am not shocked because I don't know how much I don't know, and so it's this whole process of just constant confusion and healthy choice TV dinners. So 10 of Wands in reverse, like I said. Okay, we'll talk about that. Then we have 3 of Swords in reverse. Healing from a heartbreak or moving on towards something that feels less like a heartbreak, moving on, letting go, moving past certain obstacles. Queen of Cups in reverse. We're moving past things, but we could still be holding on to something. Maybe we're wanting something to happen in a very specific way, and the universe can have other plans. All right? So basically speaking, we don't get to make the plans. The universe kind of does. And then we get to react to what those plans are, and then we can make choices depending on what's going on. So we can do everything in our power to make things happen the way that we want them to happen. But sometimes things don't happen that way. In fact, I've rarely been able to write a plan of how I want my life to go, and then it follows it perfectly. There's always these dips and these things that happen. Life has a funny way of happening, and it keeps laughing at me consistently. So this 10 of Wands, In reverse, this is getting over burdens. This is working through things. And then with the Three of Swords, it's moving past heartache. It's moving past hurt, and possibly moving past things in the job sense, like maybe we're changing careers or we're getting ready to start something new. Could be another business, could be a business. Maybe you make cute little aprons. All right. I'm all about that. Send me one. I do not cook, but if I did, I would wear an apron. I just want to feel fancy. I never get taken out. The Queen of Cups in reverse, though, this could be like moving on or finding that inner sense of self, that nurturing self, and working with it, because it's very hard, depending on how we grew up, to establish a very soft inner voice inside of our heads to make it easier for us to handle life. What I mean by this is the concept, and I hate this. I hate it so much, which is funny because I shouldn't be using the term hate for this, but I'm going to say it because in this situation, you can hate, right? And we'll talk about that. So you have a situation where people call it tough love, right? I don't like tough love. Tough love is soft hate. It does not help us. Constructive criticism with love, that helps us. Tough love is just toughen up. You're too weak. It doesn't give us any guidance. It doesn't teach us how to do better. It just kind of forces us to fit into the hole that society puts in front of you. And you're like, you have to do it. And obviously I have a lot to say about that because it's the reason why so many of our spiritual abilities get bogged down and the reason why life tends to stop. And then, it's like emotional and mental constipation. All right. And it does not help us. It basically just clogs us up like a brick of cheese. I'm not speaking from experience, but that's kind of what's going on there. So you're moving past that energy, but you need to work towards instilling a sense of an inner voice that's softer and kinder, and have that be something you work towards. Not calling you out, not saying you're not doing good enough, because that's literally what we're talking about here. But that's what I'm seeing. Okay. And thank you, Square. Appreciate it. I will call you Skylar from now on. And occasionally in my dreams, you will be Square. But that's how everyone sounds in my dreams. It's kind of just garbled, garbled up language. Okay, so Sumit says, will Bana Kapoor to me for marriage? Her date of birth is she positive about me? Is she over her past relations, and has she moved on? Okay. We'll look and we'll see the energy there. The marriage part, that is a very big question. So we'll see what the energies are like. But when it comes to... Oh, you're good. You're good, Sumit. I got it. I think I understand the question. You are wondering what kind of pizza I should order. And I don't know. I don't know yet, but it's very sweet of you to ask. No, I got your question. Don't worry about it. So let's look at the feelings of her sister-in-law sent me interest. Sent you interest. Okay, so told you something about the situation. I'm thinking this way. Okay, I got you, I think. Let me see here. The only person that sends me interest is the bank. And so, that's a bit lonely. But I'm still here. All right, let's go one more. They said we need to check with her, though. Seeing as she would be the one getting married, I would advise if someone's getting married to you that you'd want to check and see how they feel about it. But let's see what we can do. It's a family thing. Right. Okay, let's look. How does she feel about it? Okay. And I'll show you the cards. I'm just drawing them out here. Okay, so we have got family arranged. I figured it was more of an arranged thing. And I've got stuff I say about that, but my opinion isn't the right opinion. People do things their own way. I would hope love can be something that's there, but marrying for love is something that has only been taken off and been popular for only the past, I would say 100 years or so. Before, people would marry for conveniences, or they would marry for, because you can make a stronger farm community or whatever. You'd marry for stuff like that. or for business. So her last relationship didn't succeed. Well, let's hope this one would be better. Wealth. Yes, there you go. Annie, that works perfectly. For some reason, I couldn't think of things. So we have the Empress card. Oh, we have the Empress card. We have the Ace of Swords in reverse. Okay, and that's what it looks like upright. And then we have the Knight of Wands. So I would say there's definitely some thoughts towards you. I would definitely say if there's any way that you can talk with this person, just word things in a specific way. It does seem to me like there's interest, there's a connection here, but marriage is something that can be altogether different. So it really depends. And I do not know a ton of things about the arranged marriage part. To me, it's a very different world. And so with an arranged marriage, the energies going into that, I'm not exactly an expert. Is she over her past? I would say if I see the Ace of Swords in reverse right here, I'm going to say there's still some hangups on the past. But it's one of those things that, can you say you're over something completely? If you're still kind of in it, if you're still experiencing it, probably not. So there could be some lingering feelings. There could be some lingering stuff there. But the best thing to do in these situations, as I can say as many times as I can say it, is going to be to ask the person directly if you get the chance to do so. And just ask them upright, be honest, and see what they have to say. It's looking like there could be something here, but it does look like there could be energy that's still kind of linking to the past. So you're saying she has interest. The way I'm looking at it here, it looks like it. In me and positivity. Right. It looks like it to me. If I see the Empress, that to me is a good card. It's a very fertile kind of card. It's a card that can represent possibilities. The Knight of Wands, the only thing that I could see here possibly is if I see the Knight of Wands, it can be a card. It's not in reverse though. So, but the Knight of Wands can be a card that can be like player energy. So they could just be unsure about you. There could be interest, but possibly not necessarily in a marriage way yet. But there could be interest into getting to know you that could possibly lead to something more. So that's how I would see the interest. I was told she is hesitant. Okay, so that would make sense. Okay, so if there's any way you can talk to the person directly, I'm going to say that's going to be your best bet, if there's any way that you can do that, because she has already failed. And that kind of sucks, because in a relationship, the relationship fails, the person doesn't, if that makes any sense. If two people don't click, they don't click, but the person didn't fail, the relationship did. And there's so much blame that's put on women and men, and mostly women. Hey there, Lena. How you doing? Mostly women, that the relationship failed because of this, and then it's like something they have to wear, right? Yeah, she doesn't want to get hurt again. So you may need to just give her time. That may need to be something that happens. So I would say just give it time. Give it time and see what happens there. Talk to her and just have it be in a very gentle kind of process, and give it time, because sometimes, most times, that's what we need. Yeah. Okay, so let's move on to Nadine. Are you still there? And if not, we're on to Miranda Peters. So we had Nadine here for a second. Okay. Wondering if I should go and get myself don't really have anything to drink. I mean, I got water, but sometimes you want something a little better than water, but you don't just want, I think you guys know what I'm talking about. I'm wanting to drink a burrito, but like the actual burrito, you know what I mean? I need water. Okay, I'm going to go get water. You guys sit tight. I will be right back. All right. Okay. I'm back. I'm so sorry. But now that I'm here, I figured it's time for me to make an announcement. I have 3 cats. That's hard to hear. It's hard for me to say. And sometimes they fight. Can't do anything about that. Sometimes I join in. I make it worse, but mostly not. Okay, so we are on to Petra. Let's go to you. What is your question? Oh, I do love a good glass of water. Or a bad glass. I'll take anything. All right. Separated for 6 months with my ex and no contact. How is he doing? Okay, let's look at that. How's Petra's ex doing? Sorry, there's a separation there. I know that can be painful. Petra is separated with an ex. How are they doing? Alrighty, let's do this here. Let's go. Push the glasses up. Was for the best. Okay, then I'm not sorry about it. You got to do what you got to do. How are they doing, though? Okay. We get the 8 of Cups in reverse. Okay, so I'm just going to do this. I'm going with a psychic thing, and maybe I'm wrong. But were they a Leo? Because a Leo came up in my mind for some reason. The last time I had that, the Capricorn thing was spot on. Scorpio. Okay. All right. So just because my ego is very fragile, they are now a Leo, and I'm going to refer to them as a Leo throughout the rest. I'm just kidding. Scorpio. Okay. All right. So what we have is this 8 of Cups in reverse. Refusing to walk away. So I'm wondering, you're saying it was for the best. Maybe you initiated the breakup, or maybe it was just kind of fizzling out. There could be something there. If I see this, though, there could be a sense of feeling stuck for the person. But not all is lost, because then we get the 9 of Cups. So trying to move on, trying to find happiness, trying to find something that... This is like my favorite card because he is such a happy little guy. Look at that. Look at that. I want to be that happy. I want to be trapped in a forever portrait. He did break up, but I did not resist. Okay. I hear you. Okay. Then we have the Lovers in reverse. Okay. So there could still be a feeling of like holding on to things, having a difficult time moving on. Men generally do have a difficult time moving on because they process emotions the way that a sloth processes thought. It's slow. We are talking some slow moving stuff, and it's very gradual, and we're just not quite equipped to handle life, emotions, hunger. We can do house shit, like build stuff, and then that's it. Especially if they go into the rebound phase. Absolutely. Yes, the rebound phase can be just a way for them to escape themselves. Sometimes it's other vices, though. Sometimes it's drinking. It can be sex. It can be drugs. It can be rock and roll. There's a lot of ways guys can go nowadays. But I'm thinking Tinder for food would be a really good idea. Like, can you imagine? You're like scrolling through stuff and you're like, oh, the burrito, and you send a like, and I get lonely, guys. You don't know how deep this goes. Okay, so that's what I'm seeing, though. The Lover's card in reverse. So just kind of moving on, but having a difficult time, still processing things. And then maybe there's a sense of ego with this person, too, because I just heard the song, Hey, Now You're a Rock Star. Get your game on, go play. So there could be a sense of ego, or there could be a sense of like this person just refusing to look at things in a way that's more like concrete. And Petra says yes. So there's the ego. Okay. So that was interesting. I have not thought about that song in such a long time. And now it will go deep into my subconscious and I will have weird dreams. Hopefully not of a certain nature with the Smash Mouth lead singer. Or is it Smash Mouth, right? I think so. I can't remember. It's not Smashing Pumpkins. It's not Smashing Mouths. It's not Pumpkin Smashing. It's the thing. I know how to pop my culture. Okay. Val, are you there? Protection bubble. You would think so, but he's charismatic as hell. He'll sneak into my subconscious every time, and sometimes I let him in. Again, it gets lonely. You gotta do what you gotta do. Okay. What do we got, Val? You're welcome, Petra. Will Harry reach out? Okay. Venetius gets it. Will Harry reach out to you? Okay, I got you. I wasn't thinking you were talking to me. He does reach out to me quite often, though. You're talking about Harry Styles, right? That song, the Golden Song, that's been on repeat in my Spotify for longer than it should be. I like him, though. He seems cool. I need to listen to some of his other stuff. But yeah, I like Harry Styles. He has a certain style, but he is not Harry. As hairy as you would think for someone called Harry Styles. You would think he'd be like a Sasquatch man and he could do cool stuff with his hair, but it's not that. Listen to Golden, Emmy. It's good. It's a really good one. He has other stuff too. I just haven't listened to it. And I've been listening to a lot of Aurora. I love Aurora, right? She is such a cute one. Okay, so let's do this. Eight of Wands in reverse, Queen of Swords. I can almost guarantee you guys have heard the Golden Song, just because it's been played everywhere to death. I still like it, though. I listen to pop music when it's not popular, so that way I'm like sticking it to the man or whatever. Harry is actually Chewbacca's birth name. Yes, I spelled Chewbacca wrong. Wait. You spelled Chewbacca. I still understand what you mean. You don't listen to the radio. I don't either. For me, it's like Spotify and stuff. But I'm so is Harry actually, or you're joking with me? That's what it is, Venetius. Yeah, that took me a second. My my speed of thought is about half the speed of smell is going to be the speed of thought for me. So it's a slow thing. Okay, so Harry. We got to talk about Harry. Harry and the Hendersons. Okay, so we've got Eight of Wands in reverse. You're okay. Don't be sorry that it's a joke. Be sorry that I almost thought it was real. That's what you should be sorry about. Then we have the Queen of Swords in reverse. Then we have the Page of Wands. So right now, speaking about this connection, to me it feels like the person isn't going to be reaching out for now. Doesn't mean they won't, but if I see the Eight of Wands in reverse, that's like things not moving forward. If I see the Queen of Swords in reverse, that's things not moving forward. And if I see the Page of Wands, there could be a slight possibility, but it's like in the Dumb and Dumber movie is that one Harry and Lloyd, right? That one's, anyway, Jim Carrey's character, Jeff Daniels' character, and he's talking to Mary Samsonite, who he thinks is Mary Samsonite, right? The person that has the briefcase, right? And he says to her, "Is there a chance for us to be together?" Or he says something like that. And then she says, "It's like 1 in a million." And then he says, "So you're saying there's a chance?" That's kind of what I'm seeing with this right here, which I could have put in 1,000 different ways, but that's what I'm seeing here. I think it could be best to move on to something else, move on to something a little more concrete. The best way for us to kind of move past these energies is to focus on new things coming in our horizon. Someone will show you love and appreciation. If this other person isn't, then do not wait around for anybody. Okay, do not wait for no man. I don't wait for no man either. I'm waiting for a woman. that come and steal me away. Princess Charming hasn't happened yet. I will let you guys know, though. I will let you know. But so far, that's where I'm at. No one asked. I don't give a shit. Okay, I'm still going to tell you. All right, Emmy, what we got? What we got? Hit me with your best question. Not literally, though. I bruise like a peach. Like a soft little peach. All right, you can hit me. It's a form of contact. I'll take it. Oh, wow. Hold on. She's going to hit me really hard. She's one of those sucker punchers. Like when you think she's not going to hit you, she gets a bag full of nickels and just smacks you up. Changing job in March. Awesome. Okay. That's not the question, though. How will the transition be? There we go. There we go. That's the question. All right. Let me get it situated. Oh, okay. And then we have Peters after Emmy. Perfect. Okay. So you're right after Emmy, who I'm reading right now, Miranda. Okay. So how will be the transition? You went with the soft one today. All right. 30 minutes to check. Miranda, I'm hurrying as fast as I can. Don't put a time limit on me. I'm not one of your cheap toys. Okay, let's do this here. How will be the transition for the job change in March? Under pressure. Absolutely. Absolutely. Miranda puts it to me every time. She lets me know how it's going. She gives me a time limit. She's tough. She's definitely tough. All right. Let's do this again here. Okay. How will be the transition for Emmy? All right. Okay. Awesome. Okay, well, that's your reading. No, we got it. We got it. I'm sorry. I don't mean to be. It's okay, Miranda. People can't help who they are. It's all right. I've come to accept it. 6 of coins. Okay. Judgment. And the death card in reverse. You are shit out of luck. In transition, there's nothing here, Emmy. There is nothing. No, it's going to be good. It's going to be good. So 6 of coins is the harvest card. There's a couple cards that are kind of like harvesty, right? This is where I start using words to describe things. Harvesty is like when you go to harvest something and there is a lot of it to harvest. It's very harvesty. Look it up. It's Webster's word of the dictionary this year. So 6 of coins, judgment, which is like a promise of things happening and like things changing, can be like a reckoning and awakening. The judgment card is kind of multi-purpose in a lot of ways. And then we have the death card in reverse. So there's going to be changes that you're going to like and appreciate. And then there's going to be just the ending of the one option, the one job. And I think it's hard to move on, but it's going to be necessary for you. And so there will be parts of it that will be difficult, but then it's also going to be something that is kind of going to be I wanted to say a breath of fresh air, but it's going to be a breath of fresh air. Pretty sure I said that right that time. If I unscramble my brain, things happen goodly. So that's what I'm seeing here. I think it'll be a smooth transition. As smooth as... there's no way I can say that last part that I'm thinking of without sounding real weird. So I'm just going to say it's going to be a smooth transition. It'll be good. Be looking forward to it, but understand that there could be some ways that it could feel kind of difficult or kind of harder than it needs to be, so to speak. So there you go, Amy. And I'm going to move on to Miranda right now. Thank you. Smooth as a baby bum? No, I would have said that out loud. No, I'm talking about something else. Speaking of bums, though, mine has a crack in it. So any advice would be helpful. I just need to know how we can get that fixed. It happened not too long ago. Yeah, I just woke up and there you go. Scary. Don't let it happen to you. Chapstick doesn't do anything. Okay. And apparently, for absolutely no reason, my Siri turned on my iPad and was talking to me about what happened. I don't know how to handle that. Quit talking to me, iPad. We don't need that. That's weird. All right. So, well, Madison reached back out to me. We had a bad breakup, but I'm still finding myself holding on to the what if. I just need honesty, to be honest. I broke up with him due to drug issues. Due to drug issues, I'll come back in. Oh, okay, you'll come back in and check the reading. Okay. I'm thinking that's what you mean. Okay. It's been difficult as he's been addicted to and flirting with other girls. Okay, so I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this right here. Well, Madison reached back out to me. We had a bad breakup, but I'm still finding myself holding on to the what if. Okay, who cares in this situation? Miranda, I'm going to be honest. I'm not even going to use the cards here because just move on from that situation. They're flirting with other girls and they're addicted to drugs. In that situation, move on. I'm not going to look at the cards. There's no need to. Move on. And I would say just move on from this person, block them if you need to. I know it sounds like a painful thing, but it's best for you to move on. Do not wait for people, especially people like this. This person, it sounds to me, doesn't appreciate you, the time that you spend, all of that stuff. Just move on and find something better. That's going to be infinitely better than waiting for someone that is in this situation. And I know sometimes it feels like we can help them, we can fix them, we can do all this kind of stuff. Don't focus on that. Focus on helping yourself and focus on making it so that you can make better, more fulfilling decisions in the future with your love life. But holding on to this energy here doesn't help us. It doesn't help us, and we need to focus more on what can come in that can be of a positive nature, okay? Because we deserve positivity to come into our lives. And if we're holding on to this kind of energy, a part of us, our subconscious, is saying, well, if this person wants to come back in, I'm going to let them know. Do not. In this situation, don't. Okay, trust me on this. These people are time wasters. And that's one thing we do not get back is time. We do not get time back. And so that's kind of going to be where I am with that. I know it's not a reading, but I can almost guarantee the cards would say the exact same thing. And plus, it's just best for you. Guys, stop fighting. My cats are getting ready to have a showdown. So it's the truth, though. I don't know. I've been thinking he would be better after trying to help him, but I don't know. I think he's a karmic connection. In this situation, the connection part doesn't matter. It's just they're not meant for you. And take the lessons that you learned from it. Take the love that you brought to the relationship, because you are the one that brought the love and the magic. I want you to remember that. You're the one that brought all of that, and you can bring that to someone else, someone more deserving. And if people want to get help, they can get help, but you do not have to be a part of that. You can make suggestions, and people like this will get upset with you for making suggestions. Okay, and those kinds of people are not meant to have in your life. If we are in a situation where we're trying to help another partner and they want the help and they're like, okay, let's do this together, let's focus on that. Even then, it's not your problem, but at least at that point, there's communication, there's openness, there's honesty, and there's working together in collaboration. But in this situation, it's very much like, you're coming between me and my drugs, you're coming between me and this, and let someone else deal with that. And literally, when people are on those kinds of drugs, it changes their brain. It literally changes their brain. And eventually, over time, they just lose sense of self, personality. They become very impulsive. They become very angry, very controlling, even more manipulative. And if they have narcissistic traits to begin with, I'm just saying it doesn't go down a good path. It does not go down a good path. And it's not your job to try and fix anyone. Okay, focus on yourself. Always focus on yourself and give that love and attention that you give to other people in relationships. Focus that on you to help yourself. Okay, treat yourself like you are a child that you are responsible for caring for. Who would you introduce that child to? Have that be how you work out relationships in your adult life. Like, would you introduce this child to this person? Would you introduce this child version of yourself to this person? Because that's going to be a guide or a gauge that you can use toward finding new connections. Okay. And yes, Petra, some people only drag us down. Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay. Hopefully that gives you some insight and some clarity, Miranda. I understand with love, it's different. We tend to see things with rose-colored glasses. We tend to filter reality. We tend to focus on, oh, well, one time this person did this and it was so nice and they thought of me. And it's like, okay, what about the 1,000 other times, right? I thought about that and hell no. Exactly. So focus on that inner child and bringing it to situations where you can show up with that inner child and where you feel safe with this person. Okay, because the inner child, that inner sanctity that I'm talking about, is incredibly important in relationships because it keeps things playful and alive. And yeah, hopefully that gives you some context though. Okay, and then I'm thinking that's everybody so far. Yeah, I think that's everybody. Shit, an hour and 8 minutes? What's going on here? It's the connection that we crave, right? And we think that the more we're going to put love into this, the more the situation will get better. Yes. Yep, it is exactly that. Sometimes the best thing that we can do is walk away. Yes. Thank you, Miranda. I appreciate it. I do appreciate that. If you want to do tips, I do accept them, absolutely. Cash App, PayPal, all that good stuff. As much as people would want to believe I am not allergic to money, I need it to live. But, you know, I appreciate it though, Miranda. Thank you. Okay, so let's do a little bit, we can do a little bit of story time here for a minute. And we can focus on talking about my favorite subject, which is myself. So where was I for over a year? So I went back in time and I found out dinosaurs aren't real. And that sort of sent me down a spiral. No, so this past year, and in fact, from this time last year, I started focusing on, I was wanting to make some money. I was wanting to make kind of like a career for myself or do something different for myself, but still doing some like work from home stuff. And so I was looking into different options and different ways to do stuff. And I found out that if you scam people through the American mail system, you can make a lot of money. No, I'm just kidding. I mean, you could, but no. I found out that you can trade in something called the stock market. And so I looked at how to do stock market trading. I became a trader. And that it's taken me so long to learn how this works. It's not super, super complicated, but my brain tends to make it more complicated than it needs to be. But it's taken me over a year to understand the ins and outs of it. There's patterns, there's setups, there's indicators, there's different investment strategies, there's day trading, swing trading, long-term investments, right? Ultimately, I went with using futures as what I do. And so I do not hold positions overnight. I'm not like investing in a stock and waiting months or years. I'm literally investing in something for maybe an hour or two at the most during the day when the markets are open, and then I'm out. And that's what I've been doing and looking into. And I've had some great days. I've had some days that, I mean, you can make some absolutely crazy money. You can lose some crazy money too. In one day, in 15 minutes, I lost $1,700. And that hurt. But then my mind was thinking, well, if I can lose $1,700, then I could gain $1,700, right? And I've had those moments too. So I've had a lot of really good moments with it. I'm looking at ways to understand the markets, to understand how to do stuff, and I'm thinking I'm getting a strategy down. It's a little loosey-goosey at the moment, a little, I know, buddy. Thank you. Yeah, thank you. Come in here. Yeah. Say hello. Yeah. Wow. Yeah. Yeah, I know. He's telling me what's going on, guys. Hold on. And then what? What? Wow. Yeah. Yeah. Oh. Yeah. Very nice. Thank you, bud. Okay. So he's probably going to interrupt a few more times. His stories, he is spilling the tea. It is quite delicious. Some Kama Meow tea, right? Oh, these jokes are so stupid. But you know what? Who cares? Who cares? Okay. So I'm doing the futures investing, the futures trading. I'm learning technicals. I'm learning how to do all this stuff. And that took me about a year to learn how to do that. I did some art, just some stuff on my iPad. You guys know some of the stuff I do. I went to doing some more 3D stuff though, and I made some cuties. I can show you some of them on here. So let me go here and open. So we have this. So I've just been working with different like ways to do stuff. So this is like a little squid guy. This is a jewel octopus. And you can see it's 3D and it has like a shine and a shimmer when you move them around. I've got other characters and stuff too. We have, what's something I've done lately? Oh, this one. So I did this one here. Kind of hard to see. So I'm using my finger to like move it around. But this is like, I don't even know how to describe it. It's kind of like a little dragon kind of deal. But I can only draw the one part, like the head. I'm getting better at doing stuff, but just doing different things. And then I have tons of stuff that I did that was more artistic. I literally have thousands of these. I don't know which ones would be good to show. I am going to be doing some merchandise though eventually, and it's going to be more abstract. So it's going to be like we're going to have hoodies and sweaters and stuff. The designs are going to be more abstract and more off center. So they're not going to be like centered the way that I did it before. It's going to be very much, it's going to be cool. I'll show you guys some of that. But this is like some of the stuff. Oh, it's not picking it up at all. Nope. Okay. I can't show you this way. I'd have to show you through the, anyway, I can't show you this way. I should be able to get stuff set up for Monday's stream. Things are going to look better. I'm going to put you guys in my other room. So we won't have the cats in the background as much. Sorry about that. But we'll have better lighting. We'll have better sound. We'll have better like everything. And I should be able to have a second camera that shows the cards always instead of me having to hold the cards up. But yeah, I did some art. I did that. Played a lot of video games. And so, yeah, I just kind of hung out. And then recently I've just been going to the gym, been doing the trading, and then been doing this at night. And if, like I've been saying, if this takes off, then it's going to be the same thing I've been doing, the tarot videos, and then I'm going to be doing the investigation style stuff is what I'm wanting to do eventually in the future. And it's basically going to be how to work with spirits in a way that's very like kind and caring and not like weird. And I can explain that. There's a lot of people that when we're talking about spirits and things like that, they're not respectful. And they do it for TV show ratings, they do it for this or that, or they do it to look cool or whatever. But I would be focusing more on helping to develop, hopefully younger viewers watching, how they can develop a sense of like psychic understanding and working in the paranormal field, but as a legitimate like career option. I have a whole thing planned out, and eventually, if things go well, I'm hoping in like my 50s, 60s, I can have a school that's like for people that are gifted, because that's going to be happening more and more. And then I can teach them subjects, not just me. I feel like I would be the principal, and then I would have a bunch of teachers and teaching how to understand the paranormal world, how to work in the paranormal world, what that could mean, how to develop empathy, how to do psychology. Like I'd want to have an actual psychologist. I'd want to do a bunch of stuff, but we got to start out kind of small and then work up. But there's so many ways that we can make a difference, and it'll be small. My part in the world of making a difference will be small, and I'm okay with that. I don't need to make a big difference. I think any amount of difference, no matter how small, is enough to change people's perspectives for the better, even if it's just a little bit. It's definitely needed, but people need to start from the beginning. Yes, absolutely. And not feed on fear. That's the whole point. That's what I want to show people. So a lot of times when we have a spirit that we're dealing with, and I've said this before and I'll say it again, a lot of times when we have a spirit that we're dealing with, we can feel fear, but we are feeling fear because the spirit is scared. And then that makes us think, oh no, this thing is trying to scare us. And it's like, no, the spirit is scared. And so you're feeling the fear that the spirit is having. Okay, so there's differences that we can work through as mediums, as psychics, but feeling fear and saying, oh, this is a bad spirit, that doesn't make any sense. Okay, that's like if someone is crying and then you're like, can you stop crying? You're making me sad. It's very, very unempathetic, and it makes it so that we demonize things even more, right? And we don't need to do that. It's an interesting world, and every time I go by, I know I bring up going to the gym a lot, but it's been something I do. But when I go to the gym, I walk through right next to the cemetery. And I do this on purpose because it makes me think one day I'll be there. One day I'll be there. And it sounds like a morbid thought, but I'm not using it as a morbid thought. I'm using it as a motivator to live now, to be in the moment now, because that's all we have. Right? And if we're focused on the now moments, it can lead us to greater things in the future. But a lot of times we get caught up in our mind, our egos, they're telling us these stories. We're living in the future and we're living in the past, but we are not living in the present moment. And so I focus more on trying to be in the present moment as much as I can. And I'm not perfect at it. I don't think anyone is, but that's kind of a scenario that I think is something we need to focus on too. So I purposefully go through the cemetery, and I let myself kind of have these experiences where it's sad, yes, and people die, and that's kind of how it is. In order to live, we have to die, and that's kind of the whole thing. And while we're living, we have a lot of little deaths that we go through, right? Emmy says, this is something that I do in Montreal with my mentor. We clean territories from wandering souls. It's energetically taxing, though, I would imagine. I've told spirits you can stay around as long as you don't try to fool around in my home or with me. That's good too, Petra. That's good. You're setting boundaries. And do this if you can do this with people in your life, it's easier to do it with spirits or vice versa, but do this with both people and with spirits, okay? The incarnate and the disincarnate, always do that. And yes, cleaning territories, absolutely, it's taxing. There's no other way to do it. It's sometimes you're closing portals. That takes an immense amount of psychic energy. It's just hard to do no matter how you're doing it. And so you always want to make sure you're doing things the right way. And we would be talking about that too. We would be talking about angels. We would be talking about using guidance from those different things. And so, yeah, that's kind of what I'm wanting for the future. Yes, so we do it in groups. And always, if you're doing paranormal investigation, do it with groups. Always do it with groups, because what can happen if you are in a situation where you are alone and you're in a haunted situation, you can literally black out and you have no idea what's happened. And I know that sounds like, oh, that's not real. No, things can happen. You want to be in groups so that people can keep an eye on each other. And if your personality starts to change, you're with people that know who you are. They can help to bring you back, and they can help to cleanse you in the space. It's very, very important for you to do that, because some spirits do not like you, quote unquote, trespassing, because they can be possessive in a way. And so you want to work in a sense that is not like you're pissing anything off. There will be spirits that there will be spirits, and then there will be kind of guardians of the spaces that you go to. The guardians are sort of more of a robotic force when it comes to like a spiritual sense. They sort of keep things in a status quo. They're not necessarily spirits themselves. From what I've experienced, they're kind of like a robotic force that's keeping the balance in check. But they have a power. They have a very strong power. Yes, I've witnessed overshadowing happening in trance phases. Okay, so you understand it, Emmy. It sounds like you've been working with these people. You do understand that kind of thing, that kind of process. And overshadowing is when a medium goes into a trance, or anyone can go into a trance and be overshadowed, but a medium goes into the trance and something else kind of steps in, and the face can actually start to change. Things can start to change. You need to be equipped to be able to bring back people. I do. Yes, you do need to be equipped to be able to bring back people. And so there's different ways you can go about that too. One of the ways I was thinking of doing it is I raise money through the channel and through my trading. I go and I get certified in hypnotherapy. And then anyone that I bring onto the team that I'm working with, I help them to deal with their fears and their different issues that they have through hypnotherapy and with energy healing. And then I can make it so that that team member is as strong as they can possibly be before we go through different things, if that makes sense. And so that's kind of something you can do with hypnotherapy. Hey there, Bria, how you doing? I remember you, and I probably said your name wrong. And yes, it has been a while. Has been a while. Yeah, so it's very, very intense. And thank you. Yeah, I'm glad to be back. We're just doing story time right now, so I'm not doing questions. I'm just doing stories. But you can sit and listen if you want. But yeah, welcome back. Yeah, so that's kind of something I've been thinking about. But all of it kind of happens in stages and phases, or stages and phases. Either way. But I've just been focusing on doing that, on trying to get things going. I said your name right. And now I will say it wrong for the rest of forever. Nah, I'm not even going to try and say it again. I just have a hard time with names. It doesn't matter. I mean, when I was little, I had the hardest time with Laura and Lara. I could never get it right. Every time I would get it wrong. And so eventually I just wouldn't say their names anymore. I would just be like, hey, you, I remember you, distinct name, but can't say it. But yeah, so I've always been that way. So if I ever say your name right and then I say it wrong, please do not take it personally. It's just how my brain works. It's not fun because it makes it seem like I just don't give a shit. I do. I promise I care. But yeah, so I'd work with spirits that way. I'd work on focusing on that. Basically just bringing a sense of awareness and then developing a spiritual team that could be strong enough to kind of go to these places. And we would probably do cleansings as well, but we would start very small, and I would make sure that any shortcomings the person has when they join the team, we can overcome those, because spirits will use those as a way to sort of get into their personal space. So I would try to shore up any cracks in that kind of way as much as we could, as well as using personalized equipment, using protection sigils, things like that to make it so that there's ultimately, I've got ways, I have a whole thing. I've got it like planned out down to the letter almost. It's pages and pages and pages. And I've even got it to where we'll find the people, how we'll find them, what we'll do, how we'll get people enlisted. What are you using for protection? So what I'm going to do primarily is I'm going to be using basically how angels have their symbols. I'm going to be using stuff like that. I haven't gone into it really deeply yet, just because I'm not at that stage yet. Like I'm not even in the part where I can begin to consider exactly how to go about it. But what I will do is I'm going to buy a laser engraver, and then on each of the things of equipment that we have, including personal effect items, so like rings that the team would wear, there would be sigils and protection that would be on each of those different items to make it so the spirits couldn't attach to any of our equipment or the crew. And they can be very personal too, from one person to another. Yes. So I would just make it so that we would have a sense of like, we're protected, we're safe. And I would use the angel's energy and stuff like that. But I've got ways to do it that I'm focusing on. At the end of the day, it's believing that you're protected that works the best. Absolutely. Absolutely. The belief absolutely works. But also having a little bit of some equipment that has some stuff on it too. But you're absolutely right. It is mind over matter in that kind of case. And the psychic mind is a very, very powerful thing. The more we grow as psychics, the stronger our imagination gets. And this can at first seem like a negative and a positive, but yes, light around in the mind. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. So yeah, I would do that. Focus on getting a team together. Focus on getting people that can be presenters as well. So it would be a multi kind of faceted person that I'd be looking for eventually. But again, that's not here nor there. I'm thinking that'll take a couple years to get stuff together, and then to work through the shortcomings that the person could have, to work through my shortcomings as much as I can. Yes, of course, you can also use essence, essential oils, holy water. Yeah, of course, you can use tons of stuff. Yes, absolutely. And I'll try and make sure we have a cavalcade of a bunch of different resources that we can use at any one point, because that's going to be important. What works for me may not bring a sense of peace or protection to another person. And so it'll be working with them, working through them, and trying to understand what makes them feel protected and at peace, and making sure we have that as well. So salt is good too. Salt is good too. I do salt baths. I love salt baths. They're awesome. And that helps me to feel a sense of, peace and grounding and stuff like that. So I do salt baths. I do salt, just baths. Salt after, yep. Yeah, there's so many ways that we can go about doing this. Sage is good. Sage can be difficult though. So you have sage, and then you have, it's been a minute. There's another one that's not sage. It smells really good though. Is it Palo Santo? I think it's Palo Santo. And those ones are really good, but some people can have a sensitivity, like their sinuses can get flared up and stuff like that. So sage is good. Yes, because it cleans good and bad. Right. So Palo Santo cleans good and bad. And then sage is basically like an antibiotic. It goes in and it kills anything. It kind of gets rid of everything. It resets the space almost completely. And so that can seem threatening to some spirits. Palo Santo is generally a more gentle cleansing process, but it can, so you need to recharge with something that raises the vibration. Yes. And whatever that means for the person, basically anything that you can do that can put you into a positive mind frame or mind space is going to be incredibly helpful when dealing with any of this stuff, no matter what it is, as long as you're not hurting yourself or other people. Almost having it where like your vibration can raise by putting you in a childlike state, like you're coloring, you're doing some coloring in a book, or you're playing a game, or you're doing something to make you feel a sense of happiness, a sense of gratitude. That's going to increase so many things. Angel protection and Jesus too, absolutely. Unless the person doesn't feel like those things are protective to them, in which case another protective force can come in there. Yes, like Emmy just said, if you're a believer, yes, you have to have a sense of neutrality in this, because some people will be believers and some won't, and the whole point of it is to have a sense of protection. And whatever that protection means to you, that's how it goes. Cool, Petra, you're a believer. Awesome. And so I'm a believer in the angels, but I don't believe in a lot of things. I basically just believe in the universe, and I believe in love, but I don't believe God is a gender or anything like that. I believe just like in love and a universal consciousness. So that's kind of what I believe in. And I sort of focus on that. But if someone else believes differently, that's great. Your beliefs should not invalidate me, and my beliefs should not invalidate you, because at the end of the day, we are more than our beliefs as well. And I am not going to argue with anyone about what they believe in, because for them, that's what they believe in. Just like for me, what I believe in. The only difference for me is that I want to be able in the future to always change my mind and always adapt my beliefs to what I feel like is actually going on. So for me, I just don't stick with one principle. I kind of let myself flow into other principles and what feels right for me. But that's the only difference. If someone feels happy, and if I was in a relationship with someone, right, and that person believed in Jesus, and they believed in the Christianity part or Catholic or whatever, I would let them believe in that 100%. Not that I could stop them anyway, but I wouldn't make them feel bad for believing in it. I wouldn't say, oh, they're wrong for believing in it. Believe in it. Do whatever it is you want to do. Hopefully you would be okay with me doing whatever it is I want to do, because I'm not going to try to convert you into what I believe. And hopefully the same case, right? Just kind of a sense of understanding and a sense of spiritual autonomy for both people. And you get to make your own choices and do that. As long as it does interfere with your choices in life, that doesn't. Okay. I figured you meant doesn't, but I had to read the full thing out before I went back and changed it to doesn't. But I get you. I understand, because that's how it is. Yeah. I've been with non-believers as well with different religions. Right. And so it just depends. For me, I would want someone who was, they could be atheist, I suppose, but at least agnostic. Like, you're just wondering what's going on. You don't have a solid yes or no. To me, that would be okay as well. I would want someone who's okay with having their reality shifted in some sense or form. Not necessarily to believe in what I believe in, but just to have something in general that they can be like, wow, there's something greater than us, because that to me is a sense of peace in my life. Doesn't have to be a requirement, just something that I tend to be spiritual, and so I would want someone who is also spiritual. And you can't. I've yet to hear of a spiritual atheist, because it's like, what are they connected to? You know what I mean? I have nothing against atheism or the people that believe it or anything like that, but it's just one of those things. Yes, it depends. Some will want you to convert, others are open to you, woo-woo, others are closed-minded. Yes. And what's really funny too, to me, if we're talking about atheists, is that they don't believe in any religion, yet atheism itself is a religion in a sense, because everyone believes the same thing that everyone else believes. So that to me is funny. That to me is what irony was made for, because I just find that hilarious. It's like, we don't believe in any religion, and then they are a religion in some way, shape, or form, because it's like, what do you believe in? And then atheism is right there. It's up there with all the other religions. I just think it's funny, personally. Ironic, I suppose, would be the way you would describe it. But yeah, I don't have anything against it. As long as a person is respectful and at least somewhat open, that to me is what matters. Yeah. You need to be. Oh, okay. So I'll expand on atheism as a religion. Okay, so I'm saying it's a religion because atheism is the belief that there is no God, and I don't think they believe in an afterlife or anything like that either, right? but all the other atheists believe the same things. Therefore, because there's a bunch of people that are atheists, it's like a religion, right? That's what I'm talking about. So when I say atheism is like a religion, it's because their belief systems are the same. You don't get someone who believes their own thing. They're just like, no, I'm an atheist. And you're like, oh, okay, so you believe in what someone else has told you to believe in. And in a lot of other religions and possibly cults as well, that's the same situation, same scenario. So that's what I'm talking about when I talk about that. Hopefully that makes sense. Sometimes my train of thought is different. I thought that atheism was just not associating yourself with any religion. Right. But in so not associating yourself with any religion, you're also associating yourself with atheism, which in its, anyway. Yes, there's kind of a contradiction, but believing in whatever you want. Right. Right. But generally again, I've always thought that atheism was more about not believing in the afterlife. I mean, maybe that's more nihilistic point of view. But I've yet to find, like I've said, I've talked to a lot of people that are atheists, and I've yet to find one that was spiritual. So maybe that is true. They just they just aren't a part of any religion. But I've always thought of atheism as like not being in a spiritual sense, not believing in God or the universe or anything like that. That's kind of how I've always seen it. Again, maybe that's more nihilistic, like nihilism, which is literally not believing in anything. But I mean, I could be wrong, and I'm open to the fact that I could be wrong. But that's from what I've experienced and what I've known so far in life's journey. But we all know life is long, and it can take you on some twists and turns. Often they believe the existence of evil. So they don't believe in a higher good, but they believe in an evil. It's more about pessimism then, isn't it? Seeing the glass as half empty, half full. I'm born Catholic, turned to be atheist, and I think that I am, but I always believe in the universe, entities, and afterlife. Okay. So, I mean, we don't have to put labels on it because it doesn't matter. I was talking about it in the sense of irony, but whatever you feel comfortable with identifying as, just know this, at the end of the day, it isn't you. There are identifications, there are labels, there are things that humans use to make themselves fit in or feel a certain way in a certain context with a certain group of people at certain times. We are much more than that, though. For instance, spirits, when they present themselves, they don't, from my experience, spirits do not present themselves in a way that is like a name first. I get an energetic signature, right? And then that's the way that I understand that spirit. Like I'll get a tap on the shoulder. I'll feel a feeling of electricity in a certain part of my body. It's like a calling card, but the spirit doesn't show itself as being a name first, especially if it's like my guide or something, because my guides don't need to have a name, right? A naming is a human convention. When we're talking about spiritual kind of things, we're not looking for human conventions. It's spirit, right? Okay. The burp wasn't necessary. I'm sorry, but I had to do that. I had to. I'm very sorry, guys. We lost a viewer because I burped. I blew it for all of us. But no. The energy and vibrations are important. Yes, we're all one. I believe that. All is one and one is all. The burp was like a cleanse. Okay. Let's go with that. It was a cleansing burp, my brothers and sisters. May the big burp be upon us, and may we always sleep in the big burp's presence. Maybe that's the religion. It'll, burps, hiccups, sometimes farts. That's gonna be what we're aiming for. And if you snart, which is a sneeze and a fart combined, you get bonus points. You go straight to heaven for that. You have to have your eyes open though when you snart, otherwise it doesn't count. But But yeah, so I think you guys can kind of understand where I'm coming from. I have herbs are either high or low. Either high or low. I mean, you can go sometimes they're sideways. They come out sideways, uh, especially if you cleanse houses and territories. Yes. What was I going to say? I was going to say something. Yeah, I just have a lot of times where I just have a lot of time. So I think about stuff a lot. I have a lot of time during the day. I'm one of those lucky people. I don't have a normal 9 to 5. I really never have. And so I just get a lot of time to think and to do what it is I want to do. And so I have time to study and look up things and try to understand things as best I can, try to be non-biased in as many ways as I possibly can. But ultimately, I'm human, so I'm going to be biased in some ways, and I have to be okay with that. And my biases are going to be more, I guess, personal choices that I make. But I don't want to be so staunch in my belief system that if someone says something to me that I can't change and do that, because I've seen so many people get caught up thinking they're right in a certain area when really there's so many things pointing to the fact that they could possibly be wrong, and they won't even consider the fact that they could be wrong. So I don't want to be that kind of person that can't welcome or entertain new ideas, right? And yes, lots of creative projects. Yeah, I do. A lot of my creative projects have been more just me relaxing lately. I feel like I've been doing a lot lately, so this weekend will be good. I'm not going to go to the gym tomorrow. I'm going to be setting up for these streams in the other room, and that's a process. You guys don't see everything that goes into it. I have like a surge protector, and then so many things that are plugged into my laptop, and then so many things that are plugged into the surge protector, and I have a whole studio process. Yeah. You probably dream some projects too. Probably. My dreams lately have been, it's a lot to set up everything. Yes, it is. I usually only have to do it once though. So if I set stuff up, I can just kind of leave it. Right angles and lights. Absolutely. Yes, it's tricky. I need to get some new lights though. Again, if I get some money coming in, I'm probably going to buy lights first. These Elgato lights are fine. But they're not the best. And then I've got it on my phone, where if you guys go back in my older videos from October, you can see that I've got lights on my phone that link up to all of the lights in my bedroom. And so I can make it like any color I want, and you can have it be gradient rainbow and have it shift through other colors. I'm going to do stuff like that, and I've got other ideas for stuff. I'm going to try and make it as entertaining and fun for everyone as possible, but still being serious and still showing love and light and giving messages, and just try and show people that, there's good stuff out there in a spiritual sense. But I went through a lot of stuff, and we'll talk here for probably another 10-15 minutes, because then the streams hit about 2 hours. But yeah, so I went through a lot of classes. I went through a lot, and I studied under Deborah Lynn Katz, and the stuff that she taught. And then I did a lot of stuff on Facebook. I went into Facebook groups, and I did a bunch of stuff with those. And that's a really good way to expand on your spiritual capabilities. But there's so many ways you can grow and so many ways you can learn things. The important thing is, if you do the Facebook route, cleanse yourself often. A lot of people in those things, a lot of psychics have very congested energy. So when you work with someone who is a psychic, even if they're good people, even if they're well-intentioned people, you can pick up on those congested energies, and you can take them on yourself. And so it's very important to maintain a kind of a sense of spiritual hygiene in a way. When we connect with people spiritually, it's very much like connecting with someone in a physical way. We need to be hygienic. We need to make sure that we're clean, We need to kind of do that. And it's okay to put up barriers and to put up walls. And it's okay to call our energy back after the fact, which we definitely need to do when working in those kinds of situations. But yeah, so I learned from Deborah Lynn Katz. I did her full course, it was like $4,000 or $5,000 for the full course, but it was paid over a year, I think. And so that was an interesting experience, but really well worth it. She is one of the most dedicated psychics I've ever known, and she's good. She's taught me a lot of stuff. And I will be teaching you guys that with patience, and I check out of my body for a minute. I'm sometime with patience, and I check out of my body for a minute. And that can happen too. There will be times when you try to connect with someone, and it's really hard for you to make a connection with them because they themselves are out of body. So you need to like ground them and then ground yourself, and then you can connect with them. That's a really interesting thing. Going on my beach, recharge, and come back. And then that can work too. There's a lot of things we can do. We can create, I don't think topic is a word, it should be, but we can create environments with which we can recharge ourselves in. There's lots of spiritual techniques we can do, lots of things we can do, but the beach kind of mentality and then coming back, that can be a way to recharge. Putting out, having moments where we use our psychic energy to create safe spaces, and then using those spaces to recharge can be a really good way for us to kind of collect ourselves and come back to a state of neutrality. But even if that's the case, a psychic or a medium shouldn't be working realistically on more than 2 or 3 clients in a day. Like that's an hour long, so 2 or 3 hours a day. And then if you're feeling sick, you don't do it. And then if you're feeling tired, you try and make it so that you space things out, because spiritual work, a lot of people would say, well, you're not really doing anything. You are. It takes an immense amount of spiritual energy and in turn perception and consciousness to do this kind of work. So it takes a lot. Yes, and it's my quick way of doing it. Perfect. I mean, that's perfect. If it works for you, that's awesome, and that is a good technique. Yeah, so it's, I mean, there's lots of ways that we can kind of go about these abilities, and we can go about learning and understanding these abilities. And that's sort of something I want to teach and instill in people, is that it's kind of like, and I know I'm comparing myself to this person. They are someone I really, really like. And so if I'm comparing myself to them and it seems egoic or egotistical or whatever, I can understand that. But I really like Bob Ross. The patience he has, Mr. Rogers, Bob Ross, Dick Van Dyke, those were kind of people that I watched and I resonated with growing up. And I really, really liked how kind they were and how loving they were, even though they were men. And like the Dick Van Dyke Show, there's misogyny parts in it, of course, because it's an older show and all that stuff. But the way that Rob treats Laura, whatever her name is, I can't remember, Mary Tyler Moore's character, is usually very sweet and very kind. And he tries to be that way. And I grew up watching that, and one of my favorite shows. And so I kind of want to instill that in other people, to be kind, but also to understand that we don't have to be rigid in how we go about doing things. And so Bob Ross kind of teaches that, where he talks about, well, he doesn't talk about it necessarily. He just is it. Like you tune in, you get this vibe from him, and you can watch him paint, and it's just like you're on a journey, right? And then he just talks over him painting. And he kind of guides you through the process of learning, but at the same time, he's instilling values into you. And he's not doing it in a preachy way. He's not doing it in a way where like you have to do it. It's just sort of like you're learning through osmosis from him, his voice, his character, the way he presents himself. That's kind of how I want to teach people. Also with a little bit of a sense of humor too, because I do feel like that helps people. Emmy says, what I'm realizing is that I'm healing the body, but not the spiritual side, so it's hard. Yeah, Mr. Bean has great energy as well behind the character of comedy. I love Mr. Bean. Yes, Rowan Atkinson, right? And Mr. Bean was an interesting one because I didn't know this at the start, but he's an alien, right? That's why he acts so weird. If you watch the very start, the intro to the show, he falls out of a spaceship. And so he's like an alien and he doesn't know how to be a human. And so that's why he acts as weird as he does. And I think that's hilarious. I love the fact that he's an alien. I don't know. And another one that I thought was really funny, just in comedy terms, you didn't know? Yes, go back and watch because you can see it. I watched a video on it like a while ago, and they were talking about him being an alien, and I was like, yeah, that makes a ton of sense, actually. But the intro is him being dropped off, and he like falls out of the spaceship, lands in the dirt, and so it's interesting. It's interesting if you look at it from that context. But I just love his character, the betrayal, the facial reactions. I need to go back and watch it. I love that. I love British comedies too. And then another one that's really funny. It's just like a sitcom, though. Third Rock from the Sun. If you guys haven't seen Third Rock from the Sun, it is hilarious. John Lithgow, a young Joseph Gordon-Levitt, and I cannot think of the other characters' names at the moment. French Stewart, I think, is the other one, but I cannot think of the girl's name, and that bothers me because it's like I should know her name, but I can't think of it. But that's a funny one. That is it. It's comedy gold. It's stupid comedy at times, but I love it because it's creative. And to me, creativity and comedy and spirituality, I think, can absolutely all go together. And philosophy and psychology. Why not combine them to make it into something that's more? That's why I do the jokes. That's why I do the stuff I do, because first off, it's fun for me. I get to be a character. And secondly, I think it's fun for you guys because it's an interaction. It makes it so we can all take a moment and just not be so serious, right? Because life isn't meant to be serious, especially all the time. In fact, a good bunch of time, life is ridiculous, right? And that's okay. We're humans, and we want things to be a certain way, and sometimes they're not, and we just have to be like, okay, yeah, this is weird. Who is the Englishman that would get slapped by women in bikinis? The Englishman who would get slapped by women in bikinis in comedy. I don't know. This is an oddly specific. Is this like a joke? No, I'm just kidding. I don't know who that would be. God, I have no idea on that one. I probably have heard the name, but I just don't know. In the 70s. God, in the 70s? The only thing I can think of, Englishman, John Cleese, maybe? Is that his name, the guy that was in Monty Python? That's the only Englishman I can think of that would be in the 70s. And he did a bunch of stuff. The Monty Python stuff was funny. I haven't seen a ton of it, but the stuff I have seen was pretty good. It kind of racy in some ways, but it's not a bad thing. It's just comedy is just it's an abstract art form, so it can take on a lot of different things. Some of it will be offensive to some people, and sometimes that makes it even more funny. And other times it's going to be offensive and it's really not funny, but it's it's our zeitgeist. It's the, what would you call it? The kind of just the way the setting is, right? Sometimes something can be incredibly funny, and then given a different setting or time period, that same thing is not funny at all. So it really is interesting how comedy can work into different ways of interacting with people, societies, and different cultures and stuff through time. So I find it fascinating. But yeah, so that's something I think is interesting. Oh. Well, I'm thinking here that I'm probably going to tune off here, or tune out. I'm thinking I'm getting ready to go. And in so doing, I will bring all of you with me in my pocket. But everybody have a good night. Just like Emmy said there, I appreciate you guys. I will be back on Monday. Better setup, better lighting, better pizza, Papa John's. but I will be back eventually. And when I come back, oh, you're going to be like, he's back. So anyway, I will see you guys on Monday. Everybody take care. Have a great weekend. And as always, everybody stay safe, and I appreciate you.